What did you do to die today at a minute or two to two? A thing distinctly hard to say, but harder still to do. There'll be a tattoo at 20 to 2 with the rat-a-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat, and the dragon will come when he hears the drum at a minute or two to two to two at a minute or two to two.
Guys, guys, Trey has gone round the bend. Did you take your pills? Anybody got the pills?
Be good humans, be good humans, be good humans, or we will think you suck. Be good humans, be good humans, be good humans, or we will think you suck.
Okay, before we get started, seriously, explanation, what was that?
That you must recognize, if not directly. It's one of those old classic high school drama theater, warm-up exercises.
Okay,
The things that, like, God bless her, Miss Cook, thank you for planting that in my brain in whatever grade it was. Like, it's like, there's another one, good blood, bad blood, red leather, yellow leather. Those are the things that you have to sort of warm up for a play, right?
I noticed it's all in the same voice.
Yeah, because
Good blood, bad blood.
let's just say my skills as a thespian are fairly limited. But here's the thing: like, you must have. Well, I know we both did high school drama. We both did plays.
Yes.
Do you actually remember, when we're talking about remembering those experiences? Do you remember what your first play was?
Oh wow! Well, the first play, first time my feet ever touched the boards. It was an 8th grade production of Last Tango in Paris. Of course, I played the Marlon Brando part of Paul. Get the butter. Get the butter. Get the butter. Get the butter. The butter. No margin. Butter. Get it. Get in the bathtub.
Put the butter away.
But seriously, the first play
Yes.
was 8th grade production of The Mouse That Roared. It was the old Peter Sellers movie.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Yeah. Our science teacher actually directed it. I think he had like a little love of theater, and
Sure.
so there he was, and he directed it. 8th graders, 7th and 8th graders, actually. Okay. I played the Peter Sellers role, and they had a problem. Of course, the school didn't have a lot of money, but we needed a flag of Grand Fenwick, which is this fictional town.
Yes.
And my dad always liked to kind of get involved when he could, and he comes home one night from work. I think there was an office party at this restaurant called Jumer's in Davenport, Iowa.
Jumer's,
which was Jumer's Castle in Davenport, Iowa. It was, the building was a prefab looking castle thing, and he brought home the bar nap of Jumer's, and there were two like dragons facing each other like a crest.
Sure.
And I took this bar nap into play practice, and he go, oh my God, there's our flag. So they recreated the Jumer's logo for the flag in our 8th grade, a bar nap, 8th grade play. How about you?
What was my first
play? How old were you?
Well, however old you are in 3rd grade.
Okay. I was 17, but go ahead. It's been a lot of time.
3rd grade, I got the coveted lead in the Jinx Elementary School Christmas play. Ooh. And by that, I mean, I was Santa Damn Claus.
Oh, yeah, the big guy.
Yeah, with the pillows and the elastic beard, the whole thing.
Nice.
Yeah, that was the first one. What other plays were you in of note, though, as time went by?
I think in our introduction show, our very first, where we're talking about what the show's about, I mentioned Mrs. Bayless, my music teacher. Where is she here?
She's in there somewhere.
There she is, Mrs. Bayless.
Hi, Mrs. Bayless.
That's her right. Wait. There,
Mrs.
Bayless.
The glasses.
Music and theater. Then after that, of Your Good Man Charlie Brown, my senior year, Oklahoma, which every high school, every college, every theater has done.
There's a bright golden haze on the meadow.
Oh, farmer and the cowboy can be friends. I'm just the girl who can't say no. All right, cool. I always liked that song. Those, and then some things in college.
Yeah.
I did Chekhov.
Oh, yeah, you got it. Well, it's college.
It was college.
Yeah,
Chekhov.
yeah.
I hated that. Pinter, did a lot of Pinter.
Ooh. Yeah, you went deep.
Yeah.
I was mostly broad comedies.
I went deep, just like Last Tango in Paris was
Do you want to reprise that again?
Get the butter. Get the butter.
Get the butter.
Get the butter.
I did mostly broad comedies. It's like the louder I can't hear you and you can't take it with you kinds of like big. And really, the only drama I ever did wasn't. I mean, it was a musical. And it was actually more of a comedy of errors because I played the jerk Nazi boyfriend, what's his name, Rolf, in Sound of Music. And it was.
Did you wear the uniform and all that?
Oh yeah, and it was. Thank God, there's no photos of this. But it was a comedy of errors, because I had to do a dance number for You Are 16 Going on 17. You wait, little girl, on an empty stage for fate to turn the light on.
Very good.
So we are, and it's the gazebo, and and I'm an 80-pound weakling, and not a very good dancer. And an upperclassman who was a very skilled thespian. Don't know where she is today. Kelly Johnson. Kelly Johnson was this beauty with a great voice and was playing the Maria role. And the play's staging called for us to be on the gazebo, and then I come off the gazebo, and then she jumps into my arms, and we spin around, and I dropped her.
Ooh.
I dropped Kelly Johnson.
Ooh.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
This wasn't a rehearsal, or?
Well, it happened once in rehearsal, and that's probably when the director should have taken the note to let's adjust that choreography. Yeah. But no, it was just left in place.
Let's let Kelly Johnson pick you up. She's probably a little stronger at that point.
Yes, but
what'd she land on? By the way, her head, her butt.
No, just kind of like on her back, and then I sort of tried to make it gracefully.
There you did, professional.
The way I pulled her up, but she probably hates me to this day. What about let's get out of high school theater, please, and talk about what are some of the best plays you've just ever seen?
Ooh, plays, or can I add musicals to those?
Well, that's certainly in the same category.
Okay, the best musical, because I was never really into musicals. I performed them in high school, and everything's up to date in Kansas City. Can't get away from Oklahoma right now.
No, you really can't.
But my dear friend to this day, I met when I first moved out here, Jill Whelan, who played Vicky. Vicky from
Know and Love Her.
So brilliant. And she's so lovely. But she took me, we dated a little bit when we first met, and she took me to see a musical that was very, very hot. Phantom of the Opera.
Oh, yeah.
I'd never seen a production like that. The music, the orchestra.
Yes.
That was my first taste of, big time Broadway, level stuff.
Long running.
And I loved it.
I've seen a lot of Broadway shows. The original cast of Book of Mormon was incredible, and Spam-A-Lot, original cast. Something Rotten, which was actually written by one of my first friends here in Los Angeles, amazing writer named Carrie Kirkpatrick. I can never get enough of that kind of experience, but have you also ever seen a play go wrong in any way?
Yes, I have. In fact, I was in it.
Oh, okay.
I honestly was.
Is this the Marlon Brando?
No. Get the butter. Get the butter.
That's going to be a go-to for this entire show.
So it was, as a matter of fact, the mouse that roared.
Oh, okay. All right. So what happened?
It went horribly wrong. But I will say it gave me my first taste of, and you know how much I love improv comedy.
Yes.
It gave me my first taste of improvisation or thinking on your feet.
Sure.
And playing the Peter Sellers character, and I really do forget the scenario here, but my assistant or my general or lieutenant or whatever comes in, and he's going to tell me they're charging the castle, or he's this horrible news. And he was a 7th grader. I was an 8th grader. 7th graders, they're just so stupid. No, he was a great guy, and we. All of us in the cast, we had no idea what we're doing.
Of course not.
And he comes in and he's got this important news to tell me. And which one is my camera? This one?
This one.
This one?
Yes.
Okay. He had this. He walks out on stage.
Yes.
And I look at him and he does this.
If you're just listening now, Brian's making a rather hysterical face like he's on the verge of either sobbing or shitting himself.
Yeah, his eyes got so big, and he started, and more than anything, I remember the pleading look in his eye. He's pleading like, I can't do this. I can't. Major stage fright. So I had to pick it up.
Yeah.
And I went with, what you're probably thinking. I went with I can tell by the look on your face that they're attacking the castle. And I can.
Well done.
I'm doing all this.
You're filling in his dialogue.
Getting through. He had about 2 or 3 other scenes to finish off the play. But he walked off stage during that scene, walked out of the back music room at the high school, and left in costume.
Wow.
It scared. I felt so bad for him. It scared the hell out of him. So
wow,
we had to improvise, kind of get around that too.
Wow, that is a very informative experience.
Yeah, it really was.
I mean, that's amazing. Well, and by the way, that kind of thing happens. Not just in small, school productions or whatever. It happens all the way up into, big time productions.
Sure.
I once went to, there's an incredible theater here in Los Angeles, I'm sure you've been to, which is called the Geffen in Westwood. But for many years before it was called the Geffen, it was the Westwood Playhouse. And it's a historic old theater, but just before it became the Geffen, boy, it was getting long in the tooth, and it was in need of a lot of financial support at that point. And so one of the last productions that was there when it was still the Westwood Playhouse was an incredible production of the play Hedda Gabler. This is a very, very moving drama, and the lead in this particular production that I saw was Annette Bening, one of the greatest actresses alive, right?
I really do love her.
So she's playing this role in Hedda Gabler, and we're all excited to be there. And I have a seat on the aisle, about halfway down through the theater, and there's a seat right in front of me. These are old seats, but there's a seat right in front of me on the aisle that's open until just before the lights go down. And just before the lights go down, an usher helps to the seat in front of me, none other than Mr. Charlton Heston, right?
Get out.
And this is late in his life, Charlton Heston, God bless him with the toupee.
Sure.
And so they help him to his seat and he sits down. And now, I'm excited to see Annette Bening in this show, but I'm kind of distracted by the fact that, Moses is sitting in front of me, right? And so the lights go down. I see the back of his toupee. The show begins. Now we all get swept into the drama. Annette and the rest of the cast are incredible. And then we get most of the way through the play, and there is this incredible monologue that she delivers front stage center. It's so dramatic. It's so powerful. You could hear a pin drop in this theater. And just when she is in the middle of this incredible monologue, all of a sudden, Mr. Heston's chair just decides to spontaneously implode, and it completely collapses underneath him. And in that classic Heston-like baritone, he screams, "Oh, dear God!" And he falls. Oh, dear God! He falls right into my arms. Toupee askew. I'm helping Ben Hur. The ushers come around. God bless her. Annette just freezes on stage, holds. They help Mr. Heston out, and then she continues. Right, the show must go on.
Oh dear God!
Oh dear God!
All right, we have to do this now. It's a must for me. I'll do my Marlon Brando line, and you finish. You respond
yes.
with Charlton Heston's line.
Okay, good.
Get the butter.
Oh, dear God.
There you go. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And that is the full extent of our dramatic ability.
Thanks so much.
But listen, here's the thing. Whether they go well or they go terribly wrong in some way, there is still always something so powerful. Especially at a time when it feels like AI is kind of infiltrating the arts in so many ways, right? There's something about seeing people perform live on stage that is an incredibly, maybe the most powerful experience of human connection. And it's that kind of thing that, it makes a lasting impact.
Very true.
Probably like no other art form. It's Shakespeare, of course. Shakespeare put it this way in Hamlet when he says the play's the thing, right? And so when we come back, we're going to meet somebody who may actually understand that better than probably anybody else we've ever met.
Nice hook.
Yeah, you like that?
So what we're saying is, let's go out to the lobby. Let's go out to the lobby. Let's go out to the lobby and have ourselves a pee.
Be good humans, be good humans, be good humans, or we will think you suck.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, for over 30 years, our guest today has directed the Stratford Community Theater in Stratford, South Dakota. We are thrilled to welcome the marvelous Kristi Brunes. Kristi!
You guys are too kind.
No. Well, let's start kind of at the beginning. Let's start out with, tell us about Stratford, South Dakota.
Stratford, South Dakota. Most people have never heard of it. It's a very small town of, last count, 67 people. It's a type of town where most everybody knows all of their neighbors and quite frequently their dogs and cats.
Yeah, I would imagine with 67 people. And is it true that like it was kind of a bustling town until the 20s and then got raised by a fire and then the 80s came along, the railroad pulled out, and then you're really down to.
Well, it came in following the railroad when the railroad first came through settling this area. And so in the 20s, we got up to over 600 people with like 3 banks and multiple lumber yards and all sorts of stuff. And then there was a fire in the livery stable, and it pretty much burned the town to the ground, and most people never rebuilt.
Wow. Okay.
So they kept busy. They kept cohesive as a community, had a school until like 1956. The high school closed, and then things kind of fell apart.
Did that little town do the same thing that my little town, now I come from a town of still, when I was born and raised there, and now to this day is 2,000 people. Yeah, when they took out the railroad, and I forget, it was 70s or 60s or whenever that was, a railroad went through, a train went through, and then they took that out, and everything just became kind of duller and not as exciting, and businesses kind of closed up, a lot of them. Did that happen to Stratford?
It did. And I think probably first of all when the school closed.
Sure.
And then a lot of the people had to go to another town for school. They kept the grade school till probably almost 70, mid 60s anyway. And then when that closed, then there just wasn't much here. Now there's one bar, there's a business that licenses trucks, there's a coffee shop where the old men get together and BS every morning. That's pretty much the town.
And did you grow up in Stratford, or were you a transplant to Stratford?
No, I grew up just outside of Stratford on a farm.
Okay.
Did move away.
Okay.
Moved to California for a while. Lived in Southern California, like kind of up on one of the fire roads up above Westlake and Thousand Oaks in that area back in the 70s. And then came back and got married, moved to Minneapolis. And then when we had a family, decided this was the place to raise them. So we came back.
Before we got to see your lovely face, we spent a few minutes talking about our theater backgrounds and our theater history. And this is why we wanted to talk to you today, for all the wonderful things that you do, not only for your community, but for surrounding communities. So let's go back now. Let's go back and let's find out how this all began. You decided you wanted to put on a play for the town. And what got you to that point?
Okay. We talked about it for several years over beers, because that's when people do their best thinking. But we never got to that point until one of the surrounding towns was going to do a play. They bought the scripts. They needed 2 men to dress up as women, and they couldn't find any men brave enough to do that. So a gal that worked in Stratford at the elevator brought the scripts and said, I don't think Stratford would have trouble with this. Put up or shut up, put on a play. So bar bet basically, but we did it, and it just continued from there.
So the 2 guys that put on the dress that needed to be cast that way, they didn't have a problem with it in Stratford?
Oh, no. We have no shame here.
Well, hey, I was just about to say, Kristi, that so you know, if you ever want Trey and I to come and be in one of your plays, a dress. I'll wear lederhosen and a tube top.
Yeah.
Whatever you need me to wear, we'll put on.
What if I held you to that?
I'm in.
Okay, I will remember that.
So this was 30 some years ago that you
Yes.
put on this play. Was it a hit then? I mean, did the whole town come out, or and has it grown, or is it the exact same thing? Everybody's involved with it. Everybody's helping. Everybody's volunteering. Was it like that at the beginning?
It really was.
Wow.
Probably not quite as many people involved because we didn't do it as many nights. We only did it 2 nights.
Right.
Okay.
And so the first night we just served a keg of beer and some popcorn.
You know, beer's kind of a returning theme in this interview, I've noticed.
It's a small thing.
I feel like we should have brought a 6-pack.
Totally
Yeah.
in. Totally in.
Yeah. Yes, you should have brought a 6-pack.
Yeah.
And then one of our older ladies just said, well, how about if the ladies cook? And so they cooked this fancy meal. They even had desserts that they lit on fire, the whole thing, you know. And
Wow. So we've got concessions as well.
Yeah.
This is
oh yeah,
this is good. and was that first show, Kristi, a comedy, a drama, a serious Chekhov play? What was it?
it was a comedy.
A comedy. Okay, good.
We just about exclusively do comedies. You know, once in a while we'll do a murder mystery, just kind of break it and then start back with comedies again.
So the goal is to show people a good time and
Yep.
sort of pull them in and give them an escape.
So concessions were had from the kind of the very beginning, but now am I correct in saying that it's become a dinner theater experience
It is.
Because
of volunteers and everybody kind of chips in?
Everybody volunteers. Nobody gets paid.
I love this. I read this article about the wonderful things you're doing in Stratford, and this was the menu. I think it was last year or this past March. Ham. Now, from where you and I are from, you're going to love this.
No, you had me at ham.
Yeah, I
you
know.
literally had me at ham.
Ham, scalloped potatoes.
Oh my God. Yes.
Stratford's famous, this is how it's described.
Okay.
Stratford's famous glazed carrots.
Oh,
and I
yes.
love glazed carrots. And I want to know why they're famous, because what are you doing to the carrots? I got to have some. Salad, bread, home-baked desserts by the volunteers. You know how good that's going to be.
My mouth is watering right now.
And a glass of wine or two. Or
Oh.
possibly a beer.
Oh.
Yes. Or several glasses of wine. We really don't cut you off unless you get too obnoxious.
Very
This
good.
literally might be America's single greatest theatrical experience. I cannot wait to come to the Stratford Community Theater. So with only 67 people in town, though, Kristi, I mean, literally everybody must have been in multiple productions at this point, right? Or functioned as a crew member in some way or contributed in some way. I mean, you're pulling everyone in.
Yeah, most of them. And we do draw from the surrounding area, you know, for waiters, for cooks, for actors too. So, you know, the 67 are the ones that live within the city limits, but it's a farming community. So we join quite a few of the farmers and local laborers and everybody.
Right.
A couple of questions. Kristi, are you the one that picks whatever play you're going to do each year?
I am.
Okay. All right. And it's always comedy, or usually you say comedy. And I loved your logic in this, because it's in the middle of the dead of winter and you're in South Dakota. You need something to kind of cheer you up a little bit. Is that correct?
That's exactly right. Yes.
Yeah.
Got to warm things up. And then, as the artistic director, I would also imagine, are you directing all or most of these shows, or?
All except one so far.
Okay.
There was one I wasn't able, and my daughter-in-law jumped in and just did a great job, and I'm assuming she'll do the same again soon.
Did you have any theater background when you were in high school or college? Have you always loved walking the boards?
I've always loved theater when I was a little kid.
Nice.
Stratford had a lot of plays at the time. They had the high school, so of course they had the school plays.
Sure.
And then the parent teachers organization, they would put on a play. Usually the men did a play with all the cast as men dressing up as women. And then the women would do a play where all the parts were filled by women. And one of the first times I became aware of this at all, I came in from playing out in the yard, and my father, who was a farmer, so he had the farmer's tan where, he is absolutely just deep, deep brown farmer's tan every place that a t-shirt doesn't cover.
Yep.
And other than that, white. but he was standing in our dining room in a sleeveless blue dress with a blue hat and a netted veil on it, white pumps, red lipstick. And I was just floored, but I was fascinated. And so then I wanted to go.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
That's
Absolutely.
incredible.
So then every time they did a play, I'd ask the folks if I could go. And Mom was usually on stage, or when she wasn't on stage, she would play the piano. So she started dressing me up in a costume that more or less fit with the theme of the play. And she sat me down by the piano and told me to be quiet. And then after it was over, we could go run around and play and be anything we wanted to on that stage.
See, this is incredible. I mean, so this is not just a family tradition for your family in particular, but then it has become a tradition for the greater community family of Stratford. And I've got to guess at this point, with all the 30 years worth of shows you've done, you must have figured out by now, like any savvy casting director would, like who are the real stars in Stratford.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and we have some. And that's how I pick the plays, is I'll read a play, and if I get to one where the obvious cast member just jumps out at me in a part, and plus I like the story, then that's how we go.
Is it a challenge to find, if you need new people? You probably have a circle for the troupe of your regular go-tos, but let's say you have to bring in someone else because they're always there and they volunteered and, hey, you'd be perfect this part, but that's just not in their DNA. Do you have to kind of talk them into doing it? And if you do, I bet you it's kind of like a karaoke bar where the first time you go with a friend, you're like, nah, I'm not going to sing. But the first time they do it, it's like, I'll be in another play. Let me go. Can I do some more?
You nailed that, because probably one of our staunchest actors, the first year, I couldn't get him to be in it. He was scared. He did agree to pull the curtain.
Oh, nice.
He thought maybe he could do that, but he was really nervous pulling the curtain where anybody could see it. Since then, he's been in dozens of plays, and he's dressed in a tutu, and he's been a chief of a primitive African tribe. I mean, he'll do anything now. So
incredible.
They warm up to it.
So what's incredible about this, Brian, though, is not just that she has warmed her community up to this and taken them off and out of their comfort zones and put them in shows and entertained the community at large, but in the way that maybe only theater can do, and certainly maybe in the way that only Kristi Brunes can do, the Stratford Community Theater has made a genuine impact on that little town and on the surrounding area.
And I will interject this because I love this fact that tickets go on sale for these 3 weeks in March. Tickets go on sale in December.
Okay.
They sell out, and correct me if I'm wrong, but they sell out in nearly 2 hours.
Wow.
They sell out. Kristi has to put people on a waiting list because they're coming from not only Stratford, but just surrounding counties and towns all over the place. It's become the thing.
And they are not just entertaining people, but they are, I feel like, honestly, I feel like we have to literally just, I feel like we have to just lay out this list.
Yeah,
we're going to have to read it, right?
Yeah, this was too long to memorize, but we want to, and if you'll indulge us, we have to sing some of, well, a lot of you. In fact, we're going to get into this list. You better pack a sack lunch because it's going to take a couple of minutes, maybe.
Yes. These are the things that the Stratford Community Theater has helped, the different ways that Stratford Community Theater has helped impact their community.
Sorry, this is a landmark moment.
Yeah.
I'm actually putting on my readers for the first time on the show, Kristi.
Oh.
So, yeah, here we go.
Wow. Look at that. If you're just listening to us right now, Brian has instantly aged by 30 minutes.
It's true. All right, here we go.
Yes. Each time you hear a bell, by the way, another Stratford angel gets its wings. Here's what the Stratford Community Theater has done for its community.
Oh, let's see here. Oh, just a few things.
Yeah.
Helped dozens of families with personal emergencies, travel to medical treatment, buying fuel for people's homes in the winter, and helping out after house fires.
They have provided summer theater programs for kids in the area, established a child in need program to help students who can't afford school activities or kids who just need a little extra money for a winter coat.
Wait, there we go.
Yes.
Bought and installed a new scoreboard for the local baseball diamond.
That's awesome. Purchased tables and chairs for the Stratford Community Hall and Park, and installed new playground equipment for local and area parks.
Yep. And let's love this one. Well, I love all of them, actually,
Yes.
but help build a new fire hall that services not just Stratford, but 5 other townships.
I mean, that's incredible. Donated to local surrounding churches, helped renovate an old school building into a fitness facility, fixed the roof and heating and AC systems for the community hall.
Paid for a new asphalt parking on Main Street.
Oh, good.
That's
Gotta love
very
that.
nice.
And they probably, they got like 3 or 4 parking spaces in a town of 67, but that's important. Funded all kinds of programs in and around Stratford for music, for drama, for speech, even for robotics.
Not only purchased a chairlift for the local church, but also held special performances to benefit the building of a new church in a nearby town.
And,
come on.
And, Brian, every year since 1995, if we have this right, the Stratford Community Theater has awarded literally dozens of scholarships to help students chase their dreams on and off the stage.
Mm-hmm. The power of art.
Yeah, I mean, anybody who ever questions the power of the arts should head straight for Stratford. They've got at least a few newly paved parking spaces for you there, thanks to the Stratford Community Theater and people like Kristi Brunes, who clearly recognized that Shakespeare was right. The play definitely is the thing.
It is. I think probably my favorite thing about this whole thing, we started the kids programs in the summer. And at first we did kids plays that some of us directed, and then we called in directors from Missoula, Montana that come every year for a week. But the kids get so involved, they can't wait to get involved in the theater, to be old enough to help here, whether it's waiter or do dishes or be on stage. And when I go to school plays put on, at the local schools, the kids that have been involved in our summer programs almost always have leads. It's just exciting.
Let me ask you this, Kristi. Why? I mean, when you talk about those kids excited to be involved in this way, and not just the kids, but the local community members, what do you think it is about plays that really pulls so many different kinds of people of so many different ages together in such a strong and remarkable way?
Wow, that's a tough question. I think it's everyone coming together and volunteering to do something good.
Yeah.
And if somebody comes to the theater or to Stratford with a need, if we can help them, we do. And the whole community. I mean, I'm certainly not the one that does this. I'm the director of the plays and kind of the ones that they go to with ideas and stuff like that. But just that everybody comes in and just works together for the good, and to give everybody a good time. I think does that make sense?
Absolutely
it makes all
sense.
the sense in the world. It's what we're trying and probably failing to do with this show. But thank you so much for doing that. And let me ask you this. We definitely want to know if people who don't live in Stratford, South Dakota, and frankly, I'm about ready to leave LA and move there myself right now.
Well, she said she'd cast us.
I know.
If we put on a skirt.
Exactly. And I'm in. But if people who don't live in Stratford, South Dakota would like to in some way help you in your amazing 3+ decade mission to bring the power of theater to 67 people and in the larger community beyond, how can they do that, Kristi? Is there any way that people at home listening or watching us can help?
We do have a GoFundMe page.
Fantastic.
And that just, whatever we take in, we end up putting back out into the community, wherever it's needed.
Excellent.
So if someone wants to help, they can just go to GoFundMe and search for Stratford Theater.
Great. We will make sure that we put a link to that on our Be Good Humans podcast website as well to make it easy for people.
We can't thank you enough. And obviously we're both very, very, we are. We've become fans. And like I said at the beginning, I think it was off the air when we first punched you up, that I just really do worship you. You remind me so much of the very special people in my life that got me into the arts. And lovely what you do. But I guess probably the most important question we're going to ask you today. Did you want to ask it, or you go ahead and ask it?
Well, knowing what you know about us now, after this brief interview, Which one of us do you think would make a better leading man?
Oh, wow. You're both awfully handsome. Maybe if you took off the shirt, I could tell.
I love it.
We'll be back
Okay.
right after this.
Be good humans, be good humans, be good humans, or we will think you suck.
Oh my God, you were so right about her. She's like
Amazing.
our prototypical high school drama teacher.
And you know, there's some symmetry here.
How so?
It's so, I don't know, perfect that this is in Stratford.
Mm.
Where was the birthplace of William Shakespeare?
Ooh, are we talking about perhaps Stratford on the Avon?
That's it. See, I wonder that say no hat rack.
Wow, we are really
That's a
showing
thinking man's point.
We are showing our theater geekdom here proudly. Listen, thanks you so much for joining us. Go to our website, begoodhumanspodcast.com, where we will absolutely post the GoFundMe link for the Stratford Community Theater so you can help support their incredible program there. Let's keep the party going. If you would, please come follow us on the socials. It's been actually really fun to kind of connect with you guys. And so follow us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and X. Well, I already said that's Twitter and Threads. Follow us. Go do those things. And I'm thinking maybe on the strength of our performance skills alone, we should do some more of that incredible duo between Brando and Heston.
We don't want to give them too much too soon because the first one's for free. The second one's gonna cost you.
You're gonna pay for that extra butter.
Get the butter.
Oh dear God!
Get the butter.
Oh dear God!
All right, so that's it for today's show, and let's stick with the theater theme, shall we?
Oh yes, let's strike a bold center stage pose, kind of like Harold Hecuba. If you remember that old episode of Gilligan's Island, he's the director who gets marooned there. He directs a production of Hamlet, and so let's say together,
Man,
Brian.
your lower drawer,
I know,
you pull things out of them. What the hell?
I'm telling you,
That's pretty cool.
but let's channel our inner Harold Hecuba. Let's strike that bold pose, and as if we are in a production of Hamlet, let's all say together now:
To be or not to be good humans. That is the question.
Be good humans, be good humans, be good humans, or we will think you suck.
Be Good Humans is executive produced by Brian Phelps, Trey Calloway, and Grant Anderson, with associate producers Sean Fitzgerald and Clementine Calloway in partnership with Straw Hut Media. Please like, follow, and subscribe, and remember, be good humans.